Good evening, EDCO PubTalk. How are you, my friends? Make it stop, make it stop. Okay, I've got about 46 seats up here in the front. So for those of you in the back, the chatty ones, make your way to the seats. Hear ye, hear ye. Would the students in the back of the class please come to the front? I'd like to keep an eye on you. Really, y'all, I have 3 full open rows right here, and I am known for being very kind to my audience, so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. All right, I guess it's just me and a bunch of empty chairs. EDCO PubTalk, how you doing? All right, thank you. This table right here, extra credit for being ready early. Welcome. I'm Shannon Kelly. I'm honored to be here with you tonight. I did want to say, I really mean it when I say that. I'm really honored to be here with you tonight. I really look forward to being in this room with all of you beautiful people. You're an incredible community. And I want to point out, and I want you to hear me say this, it's really important what we do in this room together. Right? It's really important. We pool our resources, we take care of each other, we help each other out, we make referrals, we share our brain power. It's really important what we do here. And this event, we have a lot of fun and we laugh. And we don't laugh to forget what's going on outside or to pretend it's not happening, but we do that because it's important to be present right here, right now, together, right, in this incredible community. So just take a moment, look around, see who's here with you. If there's people chatting in the back, tell them the front row is open. Thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to be here with you. So welcome to PubTalk. It's May, I'm told. Bless you. I'm glad it's May. I'm here because of OSU Cascades. I'm so happy that they ponied up to support me as the MC. So thank you, OSU Cascades. And if you haven't heard yet, they are developing an innovation district that will help businesses innovate, launch, and grow in Central Oregon. At full build-out, the 24-acre district will be on campus, which will allow businesses to co-locate close to university expertise, labs, student interns, and economic support organizations. To learn more and help OSU Cascades unlock new economic opportunities for the region, visit osucascades.edu/innovation-district. I also want to say special thanks to the team here at Silver Moon Brewing for letting us take over. Y'all are so lovely. And thank you to Stellar Realty Northwest next door for the extra elbow room. So if you don't know, the snacks, the chicken strut spread is next door where check-in was. Okay, so if you get hungry, you need a second plate. The show is streaming over there, so you won't miss anything. So you just head on over there, refill your plate, and we keep it moving. Shall we get to it with a director's minute? I'd like to hear from John Stark. It's his 5th month in the role. John, how you doing? There you go.
Thanks for turning it on. Is it on? It's not on.
It's on.
Is it on? Now it's on. What's up, PubTalk Nation? Woo! Again, John Stark, interim CEO. Got a couple of things I want to talk to you about tonight. My window of opportunity tonight is fairly short, so I'll be brief. A couple of things have come across our desk of late about our economy. So as you know, we track a lot of different indexes that kind of rank our economy against other economies, other MSAs, metropolitan statistical areas, otherwise known as counties in most cases. And the Milken Institute, an economic think tank out of Santa Monica, California, has done an index for best performing cities. And there's large cities and small cities. We're a small city, right? A small MSA. Many of you know that we have published this for years, and for 4 years straight, we were number 1 in the country. That's unprecedented. Wow. Then they added affordability of housing to the index. Boom, we were number 13. Lucky us. Number 13. Well, they changed it up a little bit. They added broadband as well, and they changed the way they calculate it because some of the data wasn't available from the feds. Shocker. And so they still use affordability of housing, but we did move up 3 spots to number 10, tied with Abilene, Texas. And so that's exciting. So that indice uses jobs, wages, high-tech growth, added the affordability of housing and broadband. But we're in the top 10 of 201 metros, so we're still way up there, which is a really good sort of thing for us to share to companies that are taking a look at us. And it shows that we're performing at a high level. So really proud of that one. And Heartland Forward is another economic think tank. They do a most dynamic metros index. And one of the individuals that's part of that index is Ross DeVol. We've had him on stage at our annual luncheon. He's an economist, and they use their index with recent employment growth, wage growth, GDP growth, as well as entrepreneurship metrics. Those of you in the room, yoo-ha! And density for well-educated workers within the workforce. And so you talked about OSU, and we have lots of graduates that are here, people that are educated in our community, more moving here. We were ranked 10th last year, 8th this year, and that is of 383 metros. So that's a really good score for us. Again, we use this when we go out to recruit companies. This is kind of our forward-facing data. You all know that we've been growing. We're one of the fastest growing regions in the entire country. We're certainly the fastest growing region in the state, but those indexes really help us kind of sell the area. And then if you're interested in seeing some of that research and the comparisons, that'll be on EDCO's blog next week. So take a look there for Milken Institute and Heartland Forward. And then I also want to mention, don't forget about our annual luncheon. You're going to say something about that too on June 13th, featuring Margot Downs. She's the former Chief People Officer for Starbucks, Lululemon, and Stitch Fix. And obviously culture is a big deal these days as we all compete for labor force. And so she'll be talking about culture. Hopefully you'll sign up because tickets are going fast for the limited seats that we have left available. So get online and get your tickets. And then finally, I want to mention one more addition to the EDCO team. It seems like we're doing that a lot lately. And so I want to welcome Vanessa Jimenez, who's an early graduate from Mountain View High School. So she's an intern with us. She'll help us with events, membership. You saw a newsletter go out today. She's been involved with that, along with our membership director. We're super excited to have her. She'll help us going into BVC. We'll add one more intern to round out a pair of interns to help us with our major events going forward. So we're super excited. Team's still growing. Things are growing great. And we're still being recognized for the work that we're doing and the diversity of our economy here. So thanks very much for your time today.
Oh, thanks, John. You're looking very well tonight, John. I think this must be a sign of the team growing, right? I know that was a big deal for y'all. Let's give John a round of applause. 5 months, you made it. You're still alive, still here. It's impressive. I see that the back is really filled in, and I just want to let you people know that I've got a whole wide open row of seats here and a couple more over here. So if you want to make your way to the front, I would love to see you up close. I love this section here. I'm not smashing watermelons tonight, I promise. All right, friends, we are able to host PubTalk tonight, both in person and virtually, thanks to our generous event sponsors, one of my favorite parts of the evening. So up first is Julianne Horner with Providence Health Plans. Julianne, get on up here.
The button. Hello, everybody. Welcome. What I want to say is, in today's world right now, as we're facing so many things, we stand here in gratitude. We stand here in gratitude for the community, the people that are here, the amazing way we take care of one another as our neighbors and as our friends, and the people that are coming up on this stage who are the problem solvers of our community issues. So we give them a hand, we give them great applause to everything that they're doing, and we wish them well. So have a great night.
Thank you, Julianne. Well said. I appreciate that. All right, and up next, Josh Newton, partner at Best & Krieger. Josh, how you doing?
Well, thank you very much. For those that don't know me, I am Josh Newton, partner at Best & Krieger, formerly a partner of Carnot Peterson. For those that don't know, we merged with Best & Krieger January 1 of this year. And I was saying to some folks earlier tonight, December 31 of last year, we went to bed with 15 lawyers, and on January 1, we woke up with over 250. So we're officially a traded sector service organization, I think, in the parlance of EDCO. I also serve on the EDCO board, which is a real privilege. I haven't made it to PubTalk, candidly, in a number of years because my practice doesn't really serve you all. I do dispute resolutions, which you all try to avoid, and I focus on natural resource, water law, environmental issues, and Native American law. But at 9 a.m. this morning, one of my partners called me up and said, we don't have a speaker for tonight to do our sponsorship. Would you be willing to do it? And I said, of course. So it's great to see everybody, and let's have a good night.
Awesome. You did great, Josh. Nice to see you. All right, up next, Jordan Smith, President and CEO, Vlog Systems. This is EDCO's IT solution. Jordan, what's the word?
Hey, good evening, PubTalk. Good to see you guys. I am the reason that you have name tags tonight. I want you to know that. Is Megan here? Megan, are you here with EDCO? Is she in the room? She's in the other room. Next room. So she emailed us in. She said, hey, I got to print all these name tags for an event tonight. I don't know what event she would have been talking about. But I saw that come in the service desk, and I was like, I'm going to save the day, because I'm going to be there, and I want a name tag. And so I called her up, and I was like, all ready, come in, save the day, shining white horse. And I was like, hey, Megan, I'm here to help you with the name tags. And she's like, I already figured it out. So, Megan, if you're looking for a job, call me. No, but anyway, we are an IT solutions provider here in Central Oregon, so we love helping businesses solve their problems with the technology that we can help provide and build for you. So one of the big things we're seeing right now is figuring out how to work both in and out of the office and all that entails. It's a really fun thing. We're actually doing it right now too, trying to solve that for ourselves. So if you have any needs in the realm of IT and working remotely and working anywhere and making things that you used to have to go to the office for available all over, we love helping people solve those problems, both small and large. And that's it.
Wow.
That's all I got.
Brief, to the point. Thanks, Jordan. And he can print name tags if you have an emergency, which is good to know. Good to know. All right, Columbia Bank as well, who wants to thank tonight's presenters as well as everyone in attendance. We are proud sponsors of EDCO and PubTalk with branches throughout Central Oregon. We have local expertise to take care of all your banking needs. Please stop by or call one of our local bankers, and we'd love to hear from you. There's also some magnets around. I'm a real magnet person, so I snagged one. Get them while they're hot, people. All right, thank you to Silver Moon's neighbors, Atlas Law Group, and Francis Hansen and Martin for letting some of us park in their lots after hours tonight. We appreciate that. It's a tight squeeze out there. Virtual attendees, listen up. On the right side of your screen is a chat bar. Just type your questions and your comments into the chat bar. They'll find their way to me. And for those of you here in person, you're going to raise one of your hands, and I will take it from there. Okay, so have your questions ready. On to tonight's companies. The company update tonight is provided by supporting sponsors COAR, Central Oregon Association of Realtors, is the voice of real estate industry in Crook, Deschutes, Jefferson, and Harney counties. COR's members strive to build better communities by supporting quality growth, seeking sustainable economies and housing opportunities. And, of course, Ben Broadband, who is proud to be a continued sponsor of PubTalk and feels privileged to support the communities in which we serve. We know that economic growth is crucial to the well-being of Central Oregon, and we are committed to supporting initiatives and organizations such as EDCO that do this important work. Like many businesses, we are experiencing many unfilled positions within our company and have many exciting positions open. Please go to benbroadband.com/careers to see the list of available positions. If you know people looking for work, Ben Broadband is hiring. First up, I'm really excited about this one. Red Duck Foods, an organic condiment company committed to crafting superior non-GMO organic ketchups, barbecue sauces, cocktail sauce, and taco sauces. The company was first stirred up in a college classroom out of an attempt to get an A on a business school class project. With the founders' collective curiosity and innovating spirits, they took to their home kitchen to create excitement where none existed. And on the condiment aisle they went. Co-founder Jessica Zutz Hilbert is here to give us an update on the company and their recent acquisition. Jessica, where are you, my friend? Oh.
Oh, well, hello, everyone. I'm glad I get to see you on the larger Zoom screen now, because before, when you were on the tiny screen, all I could see were your name tags. But anyway, I know there's so much more to you than name tags, and there's more to me than just a tiny little Zoom box. My name is Jessica Zutz Hilbert. I'm one of the 3 female co-founders of Red Duck Foods. For those of you who don't know in the room, Red Duck is an artisan organic condiment company founded as a class project at the University of Oregon in May of 2013. We launched with a Kickstarter into 6 stores in Eugene, Oregon, with 3 flavors of ketchup that year. And we graced this very stage, maybe not that exact stage, as I was reminded in April of 2018. That was the last time that we were in front of this audience. And a lot was happening then, and a lot has changed since then. So at that time in April of 2018, I had personally just gotten back from a Red Duck trip to Australia. We had just launched into that market. We were just preparing to launch our newest product line, which was a line of taco sauces, which you can sort of think of as a tomato-based hot sauce. At that time, we were in probably about 5,000 stores around the country with our then 4 different product lines. We had 4 flavors of ketchup, 3 barbecue sauces, a cocktail sauce, and then the taco sauces I had just launched. And at that time, we were actually just preparing to launch into Whole Foods Market nationally. They were picking up our taco sauces. Shortly on the heels of that, we launched nationally into Sprouts Farmers Market, quickly ratcheting up our store count to nearly 7,000 stores on 3 different continents, actually. We had distribution throughout the United States and Canada. We were in Hong Kong and Shanghai. And as I mentioned, we were in Australia. So that was a lot of growth in a very short period of time. And it was so much growth that we rocketed onto the Portland Business Journal's fastest growing companies list for the first time ever. And we actually landed at number 11 in June of 2019. So we were really incredibly proud of that accomplishment at that time, having started this as really an accidental class project as graduate students at the University of Oregon. On the heels of all of that growth, we decided towards the end of 2019 that we weren't going to be able to sustain it ourselves. We were a small 3-person company, and we knew that we didn't have the operational foundation to be in the consumer products market. And so we began to look for an acquisition partner at the tail end of 2019. The process was going incredibly well. We had 5 or 6 suitors. And then in March of 2020, the world shut down. No matter, we applied for a PPP loan. We got it. We applied for an EIDL. We got it. Thank you to the United States government for keeping our company alive. And I'm here today to update you all on a happy ending. In August of 2020, Red Duck was acquired. So as I said before, I'm the co-founder, sales and marketing and general counsel. That's all prefaced with the title former co-founder, general counsel, and sales and marketing lead. So we sold the business in August of 2020. We landed with a local partner here in Portland. Actually, one of our contract manufacturing partners ended up taking the brand under their wings. I love the duck puns, just like Brittany loves the puns as well. And the brand continues to take flight since then. Most of us parted ways. I stayed on through the transition for about 1.5 years. My 2 business partners left almost immediately after the acquisition, and we all landed in really wonderful places. My one co-founder, Karen, who actually used to live in Bend and now lives in Western Colorado, landed with another company based in Bend. My other business partner, Shannon, landed with the Oregon Food Bank, and I myself, ironically enough, landed with our outside counsel, Davis Wright Tremaine, right here in Portland. And so I'm here today not to ask you guys for a single dang thing. And I gotta be honest, it feels really good. It's nice to be on this end of things. And Brittany, I'm sure you're still listening. There's an end in sight, and it's a really exciting place to be. But that's our company update. Red Duck is still alive and well. It found an incredible home here in Oregon, ironically enough, with another female-founded company. And she continues to fly with her own wings. So I appreciate the invitation to be here with you all today. I'm sorry that I'm not there in person, but I'm also not sorry because after 2.5 years of running away from the coronavirus, it finally caught up to me. So for your all benefit, it's probably best that I'm here and you're there. And at this point, if you guys have any questions, I would be happy to take them.
Thanks, Jessica. It's so nice to see you here. And I hope you're feeling okay.
I feel great.
Okay, good. So I have lots of questions. My first question, and maybe this is a silly one, but 3 flavors of ketchup? What are the 3 flavors?
Yeah, so we actually had 4 flavors of ketchup. We had our original, which was our approachable one, our smoky, we had a spicy ketchup, and we have a curry ketchup as well.
That's extremely impressive, Jessica. I'm just going to put that out there. Okay, questions from the... Yes, Aaron. Is it appropriate to ask who acquired Red Duck Foods?
Oh, sure, absolutely. So we landed with the BG family. The BG family founded Beaverton Foods, and the acquiring entity is actually like a sort of cousin entity of Beaverton Foods, but it's not a wholly owned subsidiary, but we're basically cousins of the Beaver brand. It's so awesome. We've got ducks and beavers under one roof, and we play nicely.
I love to hear it. Any other questions from the audience for Jessica? Jessica, what was your, what was your favorite part of going through this process? Like, what did you learn the most from? What were you really like, I'm glad I experienced that, because I know it's a lot of work. So what were you glad for?
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. It's a lot of work, but the thing I'm proudest of, having gone through all of it, is honestly maintaining the relationships with my business partners. You always hear a lot of really awful horror stories about, friendships being broken. And I think we went into it knowing that we all brought different things to the table. We were all friends, but not the best of friends. And we came out of it with an enormous amount of respect for one another that really stayed true throughout it. So definitely maintaining that relationship with my now former business partners.
This is all good stuff, Jessica. It's really great. I'm glad that we got your earbuds to work. Yes, Aaron, one more question. 2 questions. What's your favorite flavor of sauce?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't even hear what she was saying, but I knew what she was asking. That's like choosing your favorite child, but everybody has one. So I would say the smoky ketchup is probably one of my favorite ones. We reformulated that product about 3 years ago and actually removed all of the added sugar. And it didn't compromise the product. And so I'm pretty proud of how that product kind of
That does sound good. I'm not even a ketchup person. Aaron, I know you had one more question.
Is there any change in the ingredients or the recipes?
Any changes, this is a great question, any changes in the ingredients, recipes, formulations after the acquisition?
Oh, well, that's not a me problem anymore. I think the answer is no. Part of what we sold was a set of formulations and a brand that stood for something. And we made 11 really good products. It kind of has to start with that. And so I don't think that there's any immediate plans to change. I will say that, the entire global supply chain is insane right now. And I know, for example, the bottle that our taco sauce comes in literally doubled in price. And so I don't think there's necessarily going to be a change in the ingredients inside the bottle, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some changes in packaging, just because of the insanity that is moving stuff and making stuff around the world right now.
Which honestly really makes sense, because a lot of our packaging needs to be rethought anyhow. So yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, yes. Yeah, thank you for switching your earbuds. We're really glad that we got to hear from you. I know we're supposed to move on, but I do have one more question.
You got it.
Yes. Yes. Not a question. Oh, I love it. An appreciation. Give it to us. What's your name? Megan Farmerton. Went to the same college at U of O, business school. And you were one of her inspirations for her project, for her honors project. That's awesome. That's the perfect way to close it. No, that was perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Megan. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations and well done. We're really proud. Okay, Gary Braceland, no stranger to the PubTalk stage as Ben's outdooriest guy. He was founder of Bend Outdoor Works in 2014 and is a founding member of Oregon Outdoor Alliance. Bend Outdoor Works was the first independent outdoor accelerator in the US to help and mentor and grow early and growth stage companies in the outdoors industry. It was born to help Bend become a hub of the outdoor industry and capitalize on its unique abundance of outdoor recreational activities. He saw a need to support the local companies trying to make a mark in this industry and help support this growing economic sector in Central Oregon. Gary, what's up? Come on.
Oh, there we go. So what am I doing up here? I have no idea. Yeah, I think I got set up. So I'm Gary Braceland, founder of Bend Outdoor Works. Last month, we got to see two of the local companies in this year's cohort. ESPLORI and Tailgate presented last month. There are two local companies in this year's cohort. And tonight, you get to see the two out-of-towners. We've got Moonfab over here that'll be presenting in person, and we have Tough Cutie who will be presenting virtually tonight. So Moonfab is a completely virtual company. Matthew lives in San Francisco, and Henry lives in Memphis, and they ship from Memphis. Tough Cutie is from Austin, Texas, and she can't be here tonight. So you might be asking, why do we have like these companies from Memphis and Austin presenting tonight? And I guess the easiest answer to that, as you just heard, over the last 10 years, I think that Bend has transitioned from a hub of outdoor recreation to a hub of the outdoor industry. And through the infrastructure and network that we've all set up here in the last decade, since BOW and OOA were born from the EDCO Outdoor Roundtables about 8 years ago, We've created this atmosphere here. As you all know, Bend's a very entrepreneurial community in general, but we've set up the outdoor infrastructure. We've had successful companies such as Hydro Flask and Roughwear and many more prove that you can do it from Bend, Oregon. So I believe in the last decade, we've truly become a hub of the outdoor industry. So this is just kind of an example of what Bend has to offer in the outdoor sector, that companies from all over the country are now coming here to tap into what we've created. With Bend Outdoor Works, we've had companies as far away from New Zealand come here to present at our event. We've had companies from Santa Cruz and Alaska come here to go through our program. And now we have companies from Memphis, San Francisco, Austin coming here to tap into this, what we've created. So I think that's really a statement for what we've done here in Bend. And these two companies are even connected further than just Bend Outdoor Works. Moonfab, I know, uses Algify, their digital agency, who their US headquarters are now based here in Central Oregon. And Tough Cutie uses Basecamp, Van Schuschler, who many of you know, for sales development. So we have so many resources here. We are now attracting companies from all over the country to tap into what we've created. So that's enough. I'm going to go drink my beer.
Go drink your beer, Gary.
You guys get to listen to these cool companies.
Thank you. It's great to see you. Yeah, how about a round of applause for Gary? Okay, Matt, I'm putting the broken one on the back. So if someone wants to run some batteries up to the stage, that'd be cool. All right, my friends, let's get on with it. Okay, so thank you, Gary. Thank you for bringing these companies to Central Oregon. I know EDCO's been working hard on them to stay, so it's a big deal. COCC, this is our first, let me just make sure I'm going in the right order here, guys. Thank you, Donovan. Okay. Just a little shuffling. Don't worry about it. Okay, I'm back. Now, This company pitch is going to be sponsored by Ferguson Wellman Capital Management. As we approach May 29th, known as 529 College Savings Day, we encourage you to check out our blog for a video and article on this popular educational savings tool, common misconceptions about 529 plans, and how 529 savings may impact financial aid eligibility. Learn more at fergusonwellman.com. So, Tough Cutie is a new women's outdoor brand on a mission to support women from the ground up and increase diversity in the outdoors. Thoughtfully designed for the outdoor enthusiast, their Tough Cutie hikers are made with merino wool and include performance features to keep you out longer and stronger. Their first product is a premium women's hiking sock that they named Eve, the original ladies' lightweight hiker crew. Tough Cutie is the only minority-owned outdoor sock brand with a majority women-owned value chain. Founder Brittany Coleman is joining us live to share more. Brittany, are you with us? Hey, Tough Cutie. Thank you, Brittany. There we are. Okay.
Oh, that was a lovely intro. Am I good to just start?
Take it away.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you in person, but super excited to join you virtually nonetheless. And as you said, my name is Brittany Coleman. I am the founder and CEO of Tough Cutie, and we are the next multi-million-dollar women's outdoor brand, combining the ethos of third love, the social impact of Bombas, as well as the environmental consciousness of Allbirds. We are bringing something totally new to the $460 billion outdoor industry. And unfortunately, in the outdoor industry, there are a few problems. Just going to highlight them quickly. So looking at some of the existing brands that are out there, they can be a little bit male-centric, excluding the female consumer. This idea of shrink it and pink it is still very common even today. And then women of color are underrepresented in this industry, and that's kind of shown by the fact that only 1% of all outdoor retail brands are actually owned or led by people of color. And so, Tough Cutie, we are here to change all of that. We exist to stand up for women and to provide agency to individuals that have felt powerless. We code switch on our own terms, and we really leverage the power that comes with being different. And we're tough, we're cute, and we make the best damn hiking socks around. And I just want to give a little plug to Bow, because before Bow, our mantra was really simple. It was stop treating women like shit. But now it sounds a lot better. So, so hopefully you like the improvements that we've made with Bow. So our first product we're starting with, as was said in the intro, is Eve. It's a premium women's hiking sock. And from the perspective of features and benefits, she really goes toe-to-toe. I love puns, by the way, so you're going to hear a lot of those. She goes toe-to-toe with all the incumbents, but we really are staying true to our value systems in terms of ethical manufacturing and supporting women. She comes in 7 colors and sizes. I got 2 of them here. This is the gray one. This is the lavender one, but there are 7 colors and 3 sizes. And they're made right here in the United States from one of the only women-owned hosiery factories left in the country that's WRAP certified and based in the USA. And so, at this point, you might be wondering, why start this multi-million-dollar brand with socks? I get this question a lot, and it came from my personal experience in the industry, leading the sock division of another outdoor brand that, instead of deciding to design for a Jen who is getting ready to scale Mount Everest, or a Kelsey who's gonna through hike the AT. The idea was that we just feel like we can design for the girlfriend of the real outdoorsman. She doesn't need good quality gear. She's just out there to look cute and kind of be an accompaniment to the real outdoorsman. And so I was really, I didn't like that. It didn't sit right with me, and I knew that as women we deserved better, and I decided to invest in a better product for women, and this happened to be with socks. And we know that investing in women is going to lead to bigger returns, really, for everyone across the board. Honestly, it doesn't matter what industry you're in; it works everywhere. In case you didn't know, but in the outdoor industry specifically, when we look at just the change in demographics and how more women are getting outside, as well as more people of color are getting outside, there's just a huge opportunity for the right person and the right brand to get ahead of that, and we are that. And so in this, again, this $460 billion industry, our focus right now really heavily weighs on building out our wholesale business and looking at retail. And so that spans of over 5,000 retail stores that, from the perspective of the entire market. And we're really focused on just getting a tiny slice of that initially, but growing that over time, starting with the outdoor specialty segment and a couple of key big retailers. You may have heard a couple of them. In terms of early traction, we did win the Title IX Pitch Fest, if you're familiar with that, which included a purchase order. And we joined a network of some of the best, most badass female outdoor brands out there. Love to talk to any of you about that later. Is Bronwyn here? Hi, Bronwyn. I hope you're in there. Hey, she's in it. If you guys know Bronwyn, I love her. And then in terms of traction, we are going to be in, for sure, 24 doors later this year, which includes 2 national and 3 specialty retailers. And then we also just were approached by REI to do a 39 store test, which we're super excited about. I don't actually know if I'm supposed to tell you that, but I did, so keep it secret. And, on the D2C side, again, less of a focus compared to some of the wholesale stuff we're doing this year, but we are super excited to test out what we're calling our buy one, give one parity promise. That's PAIR. Subscription programs. We have a really fantastic partner that we're working with called Camp Founder Girls, which is the first historically Black summer camp for girls based out of San Antonio, Texas. So really thinking about how to bring generational experiences to other women and people of color. We're super excited to partner with them and should be sending about 200 girls to camp later this year. So in year one, we're projecting a 70-30 split between wholesale and D2C. From a margin standpoint, really, really healthy. We're looking at about a 46.5% margin on the wholesale side, 75% on the direct to consumer side, which is actually above what you typically see in the outdoor industry in both channels. And then for the first year, looking at about $100,000 in revenue. We're trying to triple that the next year and then go up to $500,000 the following year. And so really excited about the potential to grow and then along the way level out that sort of D2C versus B2B ratio. And so in terms of advisors and our core team, a lot of them, they're in the room with you. A lot of them through BOW. Feel very, very grateful to have so many great advisors and people who have just really shown up for me and helped to tighten up a lot of what I already had, but sort of really take it to the next level and open up their networks and open up their homes in some cases. When I visited, just been very, very welcoming to me. I want to shout out Erin. She sent me, I was sick and she sent me a really lovely box of food. Anyway, that's quality people you guys have got there. So thank you so much for that. But the last thing I think I want to just end off on is, what is our competitive advantage? A lot of people ask this. Well, there's so many sock brands, right? There's so many out there, where people can get their merino wool socks or whatever, what have you, whatever yarn these days. And, for us, it's really about being a brand that is serving women. So we like to say that our competitors make socks for women because women have feet. But we do it because, we truly care about this issue. We truly care about getting more women outside, more people of color outside, and just being very confident when doing so and being equipped with the right quality product, regardless of whether, it's a sock, it's a shirt. We want them to know that our brand took the time to develop something that's going to be worthwhile and that's going to last a long time. And so I think this is the part where I get to ask you guys for stuff. I could use a couple things, of course. First I want to tell you our product is available for pre-order on toughcutie.com. If you want to go out and get those and test them out, I'm open to any feedback. Would love it for any of you to go and grab those. And then in terms of ask, I'm considering bringing on a co-founder, still thinking a lot about that. But if you know someone, ideally this person will already have a pretty robust social media presence, be very comfortable being front facing, very comfortable with digital marketing. Anybody like that can be helpful. Also looking for testing out a fractional CFO. So someone who can help initially with a very small engagement around scenario planning, and then it can potentially grow into something else depending on how skilled this person is. And the last thing I think is if anybody knows anywhere where merino wool is not as expensive as it is for the rest of us, if you have like some kind of secret, I don't know, discount code on the merino wool, that would also be super helpful. So I think my time is up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time to present to all of you.
Thank you, Brittany. I loved your pitch. Well done. And I love your branding. And I'm just wondering, how did you get into this idea? How did you start this?
Yeah, so I worked for another brand that's going to remain nameless. It's like Voldemort, it's kind of usually shall not be named. And was managing the sock division for them. And it was, again, this idea of this shrink it and pink it. We're just going to make, cutesy, colorful products, and we're going to like hike the price up and charge more because we can. And that's how I ended up in this space, because I felt like, there is an opportunity and really like an obligation to do more, to be more thoughtful about the type of products we're putting in the market. Like, even though, again, it was just socks, quote unquote, just socks. But it really, that along with some other cultural things in terms of how women were being treated in the workplace didn't sit right with me. And I felt like at that point, like I knew enough to be dangerous, I guess. And, went out and I found a factory. It was really important to me to source from a women-owned factory because, any money that I make or that the business makes, I wanted it to flow back through to other women and supporting their businesses, which is actually really hard to do given, there aren't that many factories to begin with that are still domestic. Luckily found one that was women owned. And so, from a brand standpoint, we're making a lot of decisions that speak to who we are and why we exist, which is really to put more power in the hands of women and then deliver better quality product to the market.
I love that. Well, and it seems like there's a lot here to work with and build on. So I'm wondering if I have any audience questions. I have about 1,000 if they don't. Yes. No, you can say, I'll repeat it.
So my question is, one, I applaud you on your mission.
He applauds you on your mission.
Two, with
Thank you.
the U.S.-based manufacturing, are they handling your fulfillment, logistics, and distribution? And how are you planning for the 24-store opening process?
So with your fulfillment, are they covering logistics, distribution, and drop ship? And how are you planning for the 24-store launch?
Yeah, so luckily they have been in business for over 100 years, and they have worked with pretty much every major retailer that there is, and we have a really nice arrangement where they are fulfilling on my behalf. And so all of the purchase orders that I'm getting through my retailers, they are actually fulfilling those requirements. I was just like scrambling today with the vendor requirements and making sure the routing guide and all of that. So they are being fantastic in helping to check the boxes, because fulfilling to some of these bigger retailers has a lot of requirements, and they're just very equipped to meet all of them.
That's great. That's great. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Any other? Yes.
Yeah, great.
He says, great, super fun, exciting to see your pitch.
With REI, have you heard about, good luck with that opening, have you heard about their Path Ahead Ventures program?
He says, good luck with the REI opening, and have you heard about their Path Ahead Ventures program?
Yes, and I did apply, so we'll see. They're supposed to get back to me really any time now.
Oh, okay. Well, we hope you get it. Yes, Deanne. Tell me the second part again. Oh, okay. Yes, I love this question. Okay, tell us the price point of the socks, and also when are you relocating to Bend?
I know they're trying to get me. It's $24.99.
It's
$24.99.
$24.99. Okay.
Yep.
And you're thinking about Bend.
It's growing on me. It's growing on me. I grew up in Las Vegas, which
Okay.
is about as hot as it can get, and so I'm like slowly, I don't want to say warming up, but like warming up to the idea of being cold consistently.
But you've got all these great socks. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be totally fine.
True.
Okay,
That is a very good point.
I have to say too, like, socks are no small thing. Socks are really. I'm like a big sock person. I'm not wearing socks right now, but
I know where you can get
I will
some.
be as soon as I get home. Okay, so one last question. I know this is very exciting. I like I said, I love the brand. You obviously have other things in mind, and I'm wondering if you want to share any of those kind of ideas or just give us some little teasers, product based or otherwise.
Ooh, so I think, there's some fun stuff you can expect from us. You can expect us to stay in the sock world for a little while and kind of diversify the silhouettes, some of the functionality, maybe the wearing occasions into different outdoor sports. And then, after that, the brand itself could go in a lot of different directions. Because we are so niche with women, I think if you look at other brands, like a Bombas, like a Stance, right, who took a long time to diversify into other types of products. I think we can go a lot faster because we're really, keyed in on serving women. So I don't know what that's going to be yet. I don't know if that's going to be intimates. I don't know if that's going to be apparel, leggings, hiking gear. I mean, TBD, to be honest.
So exciting.
There's some other fun stuff I have, thoughts about too.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. Well, also I want to say I love Bronwyn too. So I feel like you're halfway here, Brittany. I'm really happy for you. Really excited. I hope you'll check back in with us. Excellent pitch.
Yeah. Thank
Everybody
you.
is really excited about your idea. So good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. So next up, Moon Fabrications, who creates simple tools to make enjoying the outdoors even easier. Their first product, the Moon Shade, is a packable universal vehicle awning that they started selling in April of 2020. They have seen their revenue double year over year despite being on back order more than 50% of the time. Their company is fully remote, and a handful of their team either lives on the road or have lived on the road for an extended period. Co-founders Henry and Matthew are both here to tell us more. Come on up here, you two.
Does this work? Okay, cool. How's everybody doing?
Here you go.
So do we just dive straight in? Is that how we do this?
Yeah, take it.
We're really thankful for Bend, not just because we're setting a timer for ourselves and it seems to be in some old-fashioned empirical time, but
It happened when I dropped it, and now it looks like an old stopwatch.
well, apparently we're on a pirate ship. We're thankful for Ben, not just because we see potential customers everywhere we drive, but I'm Henry, this is Matthew, we're the makers of the Moonshade, an awning that packs down to the size of a yoga mat.
It doesn't always look like this. I will be setting this up outside.
Ben's been a really meaningful place to us. I can't remember when, but my first call from Gary Braceland was, "Hey man, we'd love for you to come up to Bow and be a part of our cohort." I didn't really know what to think about. I think that's pretty good if you know Gary.
It's really good.
But he invited us to be a part of a community, and on that phone call, we realized that Bow is our kind of people. Moon is something that's really important to the both of us, and in a very crazy season, as you heard in our intro, Bow's been a really cool mirror for us. We still often find ourselves in a March 2020 mindset where it's, holy shit, I hope we can sell some of these shades. And so to be here feels really, really crazy, and we're grateful for it. If there's nothing else you hear me say tonight about Moon, it's that our community shows up. Tuesday night, I realized that as a product company, we probably should have brought one of our products to this fine event. And so I emailed the 40 customers that we have had in Bend, and I said, hey, can anyone bring an awning, maybe your vehicle? And so thanks to Rich and Megan who came through in the clutch. One of 7 customers that emailed me back. Many shared photos, and a lot of that very dedicated community comes from how we started, which is we spent the first 2 years, 2018 through 2020, kind of just developing relationships in the van space. So when we launched, we had 5 of the prominent van life YouTubers talk about this packable universal awning, and it just stuck. If you go to a truck camping forum or Google Moonshade or put Moonshade into YouTube, you're going to see a lot of content, and we're grateful for it. And being connected to the Nomad community is something that we think is very core to who we are. Last year, we made a little doc series that's kind of Humans of New York meets Nomads called On the Road that we're really proud of. We've made major company decisions camping in Joshua Tree. This year, we're going to be putting on a big-ass camp out in New Mexico called Moon Landing, October 7th through 9th, if you'd like to come. And yeah, we've just had this kind of crazy momentum, great press. We were in Outside's buying guide in 2020, Wirecutter twice. But I think so much of our community wouldn't exist if we didn't have a great product. And I'm very lucky to have a co-founder who is solving a problem for himself. And Matthew can kind of tell you how he came up with this thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you about my problem. My problem was my background is in economic research, and I did like behavioral science research at Airbnb and Robinhood, and I never thought I'd hear the term MSA again in my life until today. But yeah, I was looking for kind of a way out of that sort of hour-and-a-half commute rat race. Bought a van to kind of help me pinch pennies. And started seeing just a lot of interesting opportunities in this space. And one of them was the awning that you absolutely need if you have a van. And they're like $1,500 and weigh, 80 pounds. I mean, they're very cumbersome, the ones that are on the market. And I thought, I think I can do that in sort of a smaller package. And I was thinking about it, came up with an idea for basically like a giant kite, and bought a tarp and deconstructed my backpacking tent and bought some lamp fittings and hardware from Ace and put together, the first prototype, and it worked. It held together. It was really strong, and I was really excited about it. So I bought a sewing machine, started making prototypes, and it basically came up with something that fits in this bag. And I'm like I said, I'm going to set it up on the fence outside so you all can sort of so you can check it out when you leave. But yeah, just solving a problem for myself, and realized I bet I'm not the only person to have this problem.
And when you were doing that, connected with some friends at Peak Design who connected us with their manufacturing rep. So just by the numbers to date, we've done about $2.5 million in revenue. More than 95% of that has been direct to consumer through our own website. More than 60% of that traffic is direct. A lot of the rest of it is thanks to Brett and the team at Algify, who is here today. And so we're very much in a position as a company where we are finally catching up with our demand and beginning to think about what's going to happen moving forward. And there's a couple of things that are going to inform that decision mightily. The first just being, we have no idea what to project, what we're going to do direct to consumer. We were wrong in both of our first 2 years. We were out of stock from the middle of June until early August last year. And so all I've been doing since then is to make sure that would never happen again. And I accomplished my goal, and now we have a lot of inventory. But that's a good problem to have, as we like to say every day. The other big thing is we have the Moonshade XL coming out, which will be coming out maybe holiday this year, more likely spring 2023. The current Moonshade 7x9, Moonshade XL's 8x12? 9x12. We also have our first kind of major accessory to attach to the Moonshade. Actually comes out next month. It's the Moon Wall. So if you need a little more privacy, need a little more shade. And then once we roll the XL out, we're kind of beginning in earnest to explore kind of how we do wholesale. Airstream base camp users are a big user group. You kind of Tax Outdoors as a manufacturer we're talking to, kind of going direct to manufacturers, something we're exploring. And then we have another really big product sort of category that we're working on that we think we'll announce in fall 2023.
I did my job.
Yeah, if Matthew does his job. Other things you might find interesting, there's a bit of an asterisk since Matthew worked at Airbnb and Robinhood, but we have been almost fully bootstrapped. We did take a small equity investment in December from Trent Nally. If you're fans of van life YouTube, they're the two of the first YouTubers we worked with, and we needed some cash, so that was nice. But really, they are building a van build business. There's a lot of alignment and kind of where we see all of this going. But yeah, we're really proud of Moon, and we've just been so grateful for Bow. As we're kind of transitioning, we're learning a lot about this famous Bow pro forma that we are filling out more and more effectively every day. But we're just grateful to this community. We know that Bow and Edco are kind of all connected, and as someone who lives in Tennessee, who lived in Texas for a long time, it's just really cool to see what all y'all provide for your communities, and we appreciate the opportunity to be here. Did I miss anything? If there's anything that we could ask for, if anyone wants to help us figure out what our market size is, we would love that. We've kind of just gone after people that know what vehicle awnings are so far. But yeah, we'd love to talk if you have any idea around that. If anyone, I'm Henry at moonfab.com, Matthew at moonfab.com. Reach out anytime. We'd love to answer any questions that you might have.
Great pitch. Thank you. I have a question. So, was there something very noticeable that shifted for you once you started working with Bow and with Gary?
Well, it just gets in your blood. I think that, I know for me, it's just been having multiple of the mentors turn to us and affirm that, yes, this is super crazy what's happening, but it's a good thing. I think it's hard to get out of. Moon's not my first company. I ran a marketing agency in Austin for 6 years that worked with kind of startup and a couple outdoor retail brands, which is kind of how I got into all of this, alongside a career in filmmaking. I just think a group of people to ask really stupid questions to, and not feel like, you're going to get laughed out of the room has been just a really meaningful thing for me. I don't know if you'd add anything.
Yeah, just having people to bounce ideas off of that have been through this before. I mean, it feels like very lonely, and I went from a career in research where there was no physical output of any, and that's what I wanted to do, was create something. I worked with these product teams and worked with designers at some great companies, and I thought I want to make the cool thing. I don't want to just hand off the research and have them do it. But then you start making a thing, and all kinds of stuff that you didn't anticipate. So just having someone to ask, the stupid questions, someone to sort of nudge us to do the things that we don't want to do but really should, and the numbers that we need to know, and all these things that are just not at all on your mind. If you're thinking, I'm going to start an outdoor retail company, it's going to be cool. So it's been incredibly inspiring and helpful and all the things.
I love to hear it. Okay, I think this question is mainly for you, Matthew. So for that first protocol that you made to what the product ended up being, did it change dramatically, or were you pretty right on with that first design?
It was pretty similar. I mean, really similar. If you saw a picture of the prototype, it would just look like kind of a janky version of what we have now. There were lots of little, the corners, 5% of the product is 95% of the design. There were certain things that I knew I wanted. I wanted you to be able to set it up without climbing up on your van. I wanted you to be able to set it up any direction, orient it either way. I wanted it to be really versatile. I wanted you to be able to use it anywhere. And a couple of problems that I worked on was making sure that rain didn't come down, having the attachment sort of be underneath the shade so that if rain shed off of it, it would go on the roof of the vehicle. And I had a friend that sort of mentioned something that sparked an idea so it was those corners, but everything else is the same. Yeah, pretty much.
So cool. It's so cool. I love it. Any questions for Matthew and Henry? Yes, sir, at the bar.
Correct.
So his understanding of the product is that it doesn't require a rack on top of the van.
So the question is it an accident that you discovered your market?
Is it an accident?
Did you have a van that didn't have a rack, and so you designed the product around that?
Is it an accident that you discovered this?
Good question. So I did have a van, and I designed it to fit on my van, but I knew that if I wanted to sell this to other people, I wanted to be able to work on anything. I wanted to work on I mean, my sort of like in my head, the numbers were like, I want it to work on like 80% of the vehicles out of the box. So we've developed some custom anchors. We have a custom anchor for Sprinter rails. They have a little roof rail on top. We have heavy-duty magnets that are sort of, it's like a fishing magnet with like a silicone boot on it. We have suction cups that come in the box. I mean, I could set it up on any car in the parking lot with what's in that bag. There are other, anchors that are more specialized that are sort of more sturdy.
$100 if you prove us wrong.
But yeah, the versatility was really important to me, and I wanted it to work out of the box. But I designed it for my specific situation, but with those things in mind. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Deanne. Oh.
It was a combination of a business decision and a personal need.
A combination of a business decision and a personal need. But there's other people
Yes.
who need this too.
Yes, absolutely. I was aware of that being a problem that I could solve for more than just me
Your
when I
other van life
started working
friends
on
were
it.
like, yes.
But that was the solution to the like, what am I going to do with my life since I don't want a regular job anymore? Yeah.
I do think that the Nomad community is very much like who we feel connected to, and kind of like we feel a bit of a responsibility to hashtag van life because it created the market that we exist in. And some of that, we're kind of on season 5 of van life influencers that are like the hot couple in a van, And so that's part of what we're trying to do with On the Road and Moon Landing is, what you see on the internet is just the tip of the iceberg, but we really believe, Elon just, the Starlink is now mobile. I think we feel good. My business partner is an economist. We think that the Nomad market is just only going to grow.
Deanne.
How much is it and when are you moving to Bend?
How much is it and when are you moving to Bend? They're nomads, Deanne. They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out.
Yeah, we don't like to be tied down. We'd love to have a presence in Bend. We always love an excuse to come back to Bend. $350 is what we currently sell for online. We are probably going to raise the price to $395 after this season, and the Moonshade XL we're looking at $495 for that.
It's a steal.
And then just for our cost of goods is about fully loaded, $125.
That's with cheap shipping.
With cheap ship, yeah, with like good, for anyone that's had to pay for containers recently, it's been a lot better recently, but it was pretty bad last year.
Yes. Two-part question. Bless you. Where is it made, and what protection was that?
Patent protection.
Patent protection, thank you.
Yeah,
Do you have?
Made in China, and we just received our patent allowance about a month or 2 ago. So don't get any ideas.
What about people who are doing wagon life? Is there a product coming out for people
Wagon
who
life?
drive wagons instead of vans?
Do they still drive wagons?
I have a wagon, man.
Oh, not like stagecoach,
No,
like
yeah,
station
like-
wagon. Yeah, it goes on. It'll fit right now. $100 challenge. It'll go on there. Suction cups.
Covered magazine. $100.
You could put it on a little Mini Cooper. I mean, it'll fit on
You
anything.
could put it on a Mini Cooper. You could put it on a Fiat. Yes. How strong is it?
Oh,
Great
thank
question.
you. Did you tell her to ask that? Do you want to? You came up with the.
I think you're doing a good job.
Thanks. So we filmed this little commercial. What is it? Can I say that? Is that what it? Oh, so we filmed a little segment to sort of answer that question because that comes up a lot. If the anchor, it's basically as strong as the anchors. The little segment that we filmed was me and Trent of Trent and Alley fame with 2 like backpack blowers. Just we've had it set up in like 40-mile-an-hour winds. So we don't recommend that, but it's as strong as the anchors. Yeah.
We don't recommend it, but if you're in 4-mile-an-hour winds, we got you covered.
Okay, this is my last question. Does it come in different colors?
So funny you should ask. Y'all are really helping us out up here, but we do have a new colorway coming out. I think it'll land in August. I think we're calling it Moon Dust. It's like this color. It's like more of a khaki.
The sound of that.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. You two are great. Really, this is really fun.
Thank you.
Awesome product. Love
Appreciate
your
you.
pitch. Yeah, this is awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Please come back and check in with us again soon, you wild nomads. You wild nomads. And for those of you who are wondering, how about another round of applause for Matthew and Henry? That pitch was actually sponsored by Central Oregon Community College, who provides workforce training that works, from career and technical education to apprenticeship opportunities, leadership workshops to the Small Business Development Center. COCC is the source for entrepreneurial, workforce, and business education services. Find out how COCC can help you develop the customized training you need to take your business and your employees to the next level, and you can contact COCC's Ken Betchart to learn more. Okay, so how y'all doing? You doing great? You look great. You're really kind, you're nice, I like you. Everybody cleaned up well tonight. Okay. Tonight's second company pitch is sponsored by, actually, we already did that one. I have a scrambled script. Next time we'll put numbers on it, huh, Aaron? Okay. On to the keynote. We are at the keynote portion of the evening. I can't believe we made it here, to be honest. Sponsored by BBSI. Is your business springing forward, but your lack of administrative support is holding you back? BBSI is a full team of professionals offering payroll, HR, risk and safety, recruiting, and business consulting services to help you keep your business on solid ground. PubTalks are awesome, and BBSI is proud to be a part of bringing them to you each month. And Sensiba San Filippo, SGA, has merged with Sensiba San Filippo. Merging with a larger firm increased resources for our clients and staff beyond our current capacity. We now have a team available to help you determine if your business qualifies for the Employee Retention Credit, which was extended through the end of 2021 and can be worth up to $33,000 per employee. So reach out to Amber Yates, also EDCO's board president-elect, for more details. EarthCruiser USA designs, engineers, and manufactures the world's most accomplished overland adventure vehicles. Founded in Australia in 2009 and forged in gorgeous Bend, Oregon in 2013. The art and science of building and maintaining expedition vehicles designed to handle incredibly rugged terrain comes from one place: hard-earned extreme field experience, traversing some of the world's most intimidating terrain. They take all their first-hand knowledge and pour it into engineering award-winning vehicles for explorers answering the call to adventure. Here to tell us more about their journey, Lance and Michelle. Lance and Michelle, where are you at, my friends? Hi, Lance. How you doing?
G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm great. Okay, I'm going to sneak off over here, but if you need me, let me know.
I'll let you know. You made that sound really good. Thank you.
You guys are great.
G'day, everybody. Thanks so much for having some time with us. This is Michelle, the big boss.
Yeah, you know, behind every man there's a woman, and I am it, so...
I always like to say I get the last word and everything, and that basically says, yes, dear.
Well trained. I don't need...
Do we have two of these? That would be great. Do you mind? I'm not overly terrific at rules. If you don't mind, we'll probably take the story of EarthCruiser relatively short because I love questions. So the story behind EarthCruiser is Michelle and I always loved to travel. We actually met each other in a jungle in Malaysia a very long time ago. So when it comes to travelling by vehicle in interesting places, we had a pretty good idea what they should do and absolutely what they should not do from experience. So fast forward a little bit, we'd sold a successful company in Australia and we wanted to start to travel. And so with my background in vehicle building and the love of four drive and extreme off-road events, we decided to build something. If we're going to build it, we build it to travel. It had to be absolutely superb. It had to do all the things we wanted it to, and a few key ingredients was that it must have a toilet inside. Yes, dear. Must have a very comfortable bed and a hot shower after you finish having your fun. And so, again, with the experience in vehicle bodybuilding, a normal Land Cruiser or a Nissan Patrol or whatever was not going to do it. It was just going to be a dreadful compromise. So anyway, we decided from scratch to build a serious production overland vehicle. And what we really wanted to do if we're going to do it properly, it had to be ADR approved, which is Australian design rules. Australian design rules are extremely strict, and it meant that it had to be made properly. We couldn't throw it together, it had to be done right. That took roughly 12 months. So I'm going to cover a lot of ground really, really quickly. So that took roughly 12 months. Once we decided what we wanted to make, we decided to build it on a Fuso truck for a number of reasons.
When Lance says a Fuso truck, just keep in mind a delivery truck, okay? So that's where it started.
Yeah. So we had to build a vehicle from scratch to meet the ADR rules of Australia and perform what we needed it to do out in the bush or wherever we wanted to take it in the world. A key ingredient, it must be able to fit inside a shipping container so we could travel around the world. That was a key ingredient. Anyway, so we built a vehicle. Just for fun and giggles, we took it to a caravan camping show in Australia, and where we were in Brisbane was roughly 1 million people live in Brisbane, roughly. And for context, over 80,000 people, this is in 2009, over 80,000 people showed up to that show, and that's very, very normal. So the overland travelling, remote travel business in Australia is huge, but we knew that. So anyway, and somebody come along and bought it, which is rather inconvenient. And so we thought, well, if we're not careful, we actually may have a business here. And so we thought, oh, okay, fine, we'll build some more. And before very long, we had a number of customers in Australia. And then I'm going to let Michelle pick it up from there.
The only reason we're in the U.S. is because I was gone for a very long time, and my parents are elderly, and they're in Portland, Oregon. So guess what? Here we are. So Lance, we moved to Portland for a couple of months, and Lance thought he was going to shoot himself in the head because of the rain. So we were looking within sort of a drivable distance as to where we could set up a business, where the sun shone, and this is how we ended up in Bend. And so I'll go back to Lance now.
So I thought it was too easy, because all I was going to do and did for quite some time was commute between either Portland or Bend back to Australia, because we still had a business and customers who had made a significant commitment to build their wonderful EarthCruiser. So I just used to commute. You know, the planes leave at 11:55, QF11. I got to know it extremely well. So it's a commute, no big deal. So fast forward some more, again, covering a lot of ground quickly, is that when we moved to Portland, rented a little place, and as Michelle said, the Portland, beautiful town, love it to death, absolutely fabulous, but I noticed the sun doesn't shine a great deal. So we literally rented a car, drove over the mountain. We had no idea what Bend was, didn't know where Bend was. All I knew was that the sun shone, and I thought, that is exactly what I need. So if we're going to stay here, so we jump in a hire car with our little Labrador, drive over the mountain. One of the first times in my life I ever stood on snow was rescuing the Labrador out of the snow. It was really that bad.
She loved it. She was like in heaven. She was a beach dog.
So anyway, so we arrive in Bend. We knew absolutely nobody. This is long before Bow and all the wonderful, amazing things that have been achieved. And I bumped into some people, probably crying in my beer and my coffee, trying to figure out if we're going to have a way of building or doing something in Bend where we could feed ourselves. And again, I was just commuting backwards and forwards. Somehow or another, somebody in the United States heard that it would be possible to get an EarthCruiser in the US, which really surprised me. I didn't think anybody would care. So, always believing nothing is impossible, we moved we've got a left-hand drive truck from the US. We shipped it to Australia. I built an American vehicle in Australia, and we shipped it back, and somehow or another, somebody heard about it. And then we thought, okay, that was okay when we built the first one in Australia, because we had the means to take care of our customer, and now it kind of gets a little bit serious. When somebody else in the US wanted to buy one customer doesn't make a business. The moment that the moment the transaction of funds or commitment takes place, that is the beginning of the relationship, not the end. And that was a serious trigger moment for me personally, is that if we are going to take somebody's money and we're going to make a commitment, you keep it. That is a simple tenet of EarthCruiser. You make a commitment, you keep it, that's it. There's nothing more to be said. Outside of that, there's nothing but an excuse, and that is not acceptable. And so that was a moment. And I can say it was probably one of the best things we ever did.
It was one of the best things we ever did. It wasn't an easy thing, but it was one of the best things we ever did. And so after that first one came back from Australia to the US, we started taking orders. And then it was to figure out how to build them and who we could find to build them and how we were going to build them, how we were going to set up, how we were going to get the materials, who was going to work with us.
And so a few things, and this might sound a little bit sooky and gooey, and trust me, I'm not sooky or gooey, is that we said if we're going to do this, we're going to, okay, back one, all right? I am extremely grateful for what the United States has done for us. I'm an Aussie, right? This is Michelle's wonderful country. But America has always been so welcoming to me. And I felt that if we're going to do this, we're going to do it 150% or we ain't doing it. And that's all there is to it. And so we had options. We could build stuff in Australia. We could build stuff elsewhere. And I thought, no, bugger that. That's not fair. If these wonderful people are going to give us a go, we're going to do absolutely positively in our tiny little way that we can to give people in this wonderful town a job. I want to see kids in this school. I want to give kids a job in this town, in this country, not somewhere else. And that may sound a little bit gooey and sooky or whatever, but no, that's part of that commitment stuff. If people are prepared to give us a go, we're all in or all out. Michelle, am I very good at grey?
Lance doesn't do grey, in case you haven't noticed.
We're either in or we're out. That's it. So that was a big thing for us. And so think about it for a second. All right. So I'm not sure. We're going to play a video. It doesn't seem like it's working. It doesn't matter. I don't know if everybody knows what an EarthCruiser looks like. But anyway, it's built essentially on a Fuso cab-over truck, which was a cab-over four drive. And most people were very unfamiliar with those. And we would talk to people and they go, you are absolutely nuts. No one's going to buy that. It's too expensive and there's nowhere to go in America anyway.
Believe it or not, people said to us, where can I take that? Because we've paved everything. And I thought, did you ever look outside?
This is way before the van life exploded. This is way before CVT and all the wonderful, amazing things that have happened. And I don't want to take away anything from that, but we were very fortunate that, and I think this, kind of when you're on the outside in, it's looking from the outside in, you see things differently, right? And so all I could see when I was flying backwards and forwards across America, that's an awful lot of ground out there that really needs to go be looked at. And I couldn't understand this idea that there was nothing to see. I just didn't understand that. And the more we learned, I thought, okay, all right. We may be fortunate that we can see something that nobody else can. And for any small business that wants to do something, that is the most beautiful thing in the whole wide world. If you can see it and you believe that, and you believe it's possible, that's just wonderful. And then the rest of it just becomes 101 nuts and bolts. But critically, it's the principles by what you want to be known by. And so a key principle for us was that commitment, we're in. That's all there is to it. What does in look like and what does in mean, and how do we make sure that we're always going to be able to, in our limited way, let's keep it real, in our limited way to be able to keep the commitment to ourselves, but more importantly to our customers. At the end of the day, it's our customers that create our business. Without them, we have absolutely nothing. And without fabulous, amazing crew to help support our customers, we have absolutely nothing. So how can we put those two things together? And for me, it was very simple. It was independence. Is that we always wanted to be able to make our decisions, not what the balance sheet said, but what our principles said must happen. So I've skipped up an awful lot of ground over EarthCruiser right now. And so if it's okay, is it okay if we ask questions?
Well, I was going to say, is there any possibility of running that video and then we can we can do questions?
Please. So just stay where you are.
Maybe.
Go to the side.
My name is Ellen Waite, and I manage EarthCruiser Adventures. EarthCruiser Adventures are small group overland trips exclusively for EarthCruiser owners. These experiences are to both domestic and overseas destinations and are designed with the capabilities of our vehicles and owners in mind. Our adventures travel off the beaten path and are led by EarthCruiser staff drawing from years of experience and expertise. The goal of every adventure is for our owners to gain further confidence in their vehicles and themselves. We'll make new friends and enjoy some pretty epic views along the way.
Hello.
Are we back? Oh, thank you. Okay.
So, short and sweet, works for me. So everything you just saw in those videos is made in American Lane, just down the road.
It's incredible. How about a round of applause for these two? And I just want to say, on the personal side of things, I grew up watching Crocodile Dundee a lot, and your vibes are just right. So thank you very much. I needed this. I think some of you needed this as well. Now, are all EarthCruisers unique? Are they? Is there certain styles? Because it looks like there's kind of a lot of different options there.
I'm also known not for being able to answer a question quickly, so some boring business stuff if you don't mind. So those cab over trucks, again, we're small, we're tiny, and all that sort of stuff. And it was critical for me to be able to have a recognizable shape, right? People can't always remember a brand or whatever, but we are pre-programmed to recognize a shape. And so we stayed with the Fuso truck, or the cab over truck, for a couple of reasons. One is it's sold in 80 countries around the world, and so we actually got in 2017 Emerging Exporter of Award, which was nice because we've posted them
For
all
Oregon,
over.
yeah.
Yeah, so we've posted them all over the world. I call them posting, whatever. Because that was unique, and that comes back to that Australian ADR. So the ADR is also, it has an opposite number with a 2 for an EU rule. So it meant that what we are building here can be exported and it's legally registered in Europe, and that is no small thing when it comes to motor vehicles, and we do that here. So, and we've got them in Asia. We send them everywhere. So anyway, and we've got customers literally right now driving all over the world. That's just what they do. So anyway, it was important to us to keep a recognisable shape because, again, we're a small, tiny little company, and how we can survive in this huge RV world of America. And I thought, well, no, let's just do one thing and do it as the best as we possibly can, and don't go mainstream, don't do that. Let's just focus on what the core promise that we made to our customers is, and that is you can jump in this thing, and one night in an EarthCruiser will change your life. Meaning that you just realise that you can go literally anywhere. And that's a really interesting mind snap for people. And so we wanted to put those two things together. I'm being quick now. And see, boss, I understand the boss. And so, anyway, so we stayed with that model, and it paid dividends for us big time because we're at a Overland show in Bad Kissingen in Germany, and lo and behold, there was an exact copy of an EarthCruiser, and we thought, this is great. This is exactly what we don't need at this point in time.
They did it from photos, believe it or not.
Believe it or not, it's just genius engineers. They, 100%, wonderful. They did a wonderful copy of an EarthCruiser, and unfortunately, we had to take them to an EU court to prove that they had copied our design, right? So we didn't have the means to patent everything that is around an EarthCruiser. That's ridiculous, and even to defend that patent is a joke, particularly in the EU. However, because we were consistent with our design, the EU said, no, you are trading off the shape of that EarthCruiser, and we're 100% successful in that court case. That is no small thing. And that was actually pretty big. And then trying to, you've got interpreters and going through all of that. That is a very stressful moment, because if we would have lost that, it would have been so easy for them to go and shoot that over to another place where they could compete much better on price than what we could here. Think about it. And everything that we had tried to secure and achieve could have evaporated in a heartbeat. So we're very fortunate that that worked out for us. It was not until I was satisfied that that shape was secured, if you will, that looks like an EarthCruiser. And if you see an EC driving down the road, you go, oh yeah, that is an EarthCruiser.
You need a hotline. There's like, if I spy like a fake EarthCruiser, like I'm calling that in.
It won't happen.
'Cause I'm not going to stand for it.
It'll be right. It'll be right. We can take care of it. And so it was only until I was satisfied that would happen is that we decided to build on a US domestic chassis. And there's one parked outside, it's called a Terra Nova. If we would have done it the opposite way and built, and I would have called it the easier way, built on a US domestic chassis, which would make a ton of sense, right? But to make it so that was recognizable instantly as an EarthCruiser would have been very, very difficult. And for our cab over customers, because those trucks are all over the world, it's much, much easier to get them serviced all over the planet. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. How many of these are you making a year?
Not enough.
Oh. What's the wait list?
Roughly a year.
Roughly a year. You could have one Q1, Q2 next year. Oh, gosh. Okay, let's start with John. Okay, we're going to give in the red jacket. What percentage of your sales goes to end users or versus tour operators?
Very deliberately, we are directly to consumer, and there's a strong reason for that, is that we don't use a dealer network. Again, we wanted to build our business one customer at a time, and particularly, not so much now, but in the early days, me personally, I had a lot to learn about, I'll tread carefully, I had a lot to learn of what it was like to be in America, and I didn't want to assume anything.
You're fine.
So having a one-on-one conversation was incredibly valuable to us. Does that answer your question?
Sorry. We don't do anything through tour operators. So just so you know, most of our vehicles are designed for 2 to 4 people. So they're definitely not a tour product at this moment in time.
2 to 4 people. That sounds like my size party at the bar. What's the employee head count now? How big is the team?
Okay, excellent. So our business model, again, keeping it real, was that we would design our stuff, prototype our stuff, get outside manufacturers to build our stuff, and then we would assemble it. So stay with me, right? So we didn't have the resources to go and buy those wonderful CNC machines and all that sort of stuff. And to me, that was silly anyway, because again, we were going to sell one this month, skip a couple of months, not sell one. It made no sense, right? And particularly, at the beginning, as everything's changed now, but in the beginning, we wanted to be able to control what we could control. I'll answer your question. To control what we could control and not stress about what we couldn't. So we didn't want payments on big machines that we weren't sure that we could put to work. So the business model from the beginning was we design it, prototype it, get people who have those lovely machines to make it for us, then we assemble it. So we've got our headcount's roughly 60 at the moment and growing rapidly. But we probably employ another 120 contractors in Central Oregon on top of that.
So cool. Yeah. My question, MVP.
So, recently they have a contract for some emergency response, production. Is that something you need to ramp up financing and production for?
So is this confirmed? You have contracted emergency response vehicles in place. Did you have to ramp up? Did you have to increase your financing? What was that process like for you?
Okay, good. Do you mind if I can answer? Sorry, I can never answer a question quickly because there's a backstory to that. There's always a backstory, right? But it's important. I mean, whatever. All right, so what happened? We were building on the Fuso four-wheel drive truck, right? Fuso decided they didn't want to make four drives in America anymore, so we had to create a four-wheel drive truck for our core business, right? So we actually literally had to go and make a four-wheel drive cab-over truck using a Fuso. Unfortunately, after we had done that and done all of the federal testing and made it a legitimate four-wheel drive, the only cab-over, brand new four-wheel drive truck in its class in America, Fuso decided they weren't going to make the base truck at all anymore. So we were literally out of business. Fortunately, we don't give up overly easily. So we went to Isuzu, which is actually a subsidiary of GM, and we said to them, can you sell us the bits and pieces of a truck, and can we turn that into a four-wheel drive? And they said, absolutely. And so it's never waste a crisis, right? Every time a disaster arrives, there's something that you can do with it if you've got enough brain space and enough terrific people around you to help muddle your way through it. And we have always been just so fortunate to have just wonderful people around us. And so, so fair enough. So we did the whole process all over again, and we started to make the only four-wheel drive cab-over truck in America with the blessing of one of the largest vehicle manufacturers on the planet. But there was a risk, right? Because, okay, Isuzu, are you going to bring in a four-wheel drive truck now that we've started to create a business? What's going to happen here?
Four-wheel drive trucks elsewhere, so they just don't bring them into the States.
Gotcha.
So the compliancing and all the drama that you have to go through to make that happen made no sense for a major vehicle manufacturer, but a tiny little organisation in wonderful Bend, Oregon in American Lane, for us that was no big deal. So what? It can't be too hard. And so that's exactly what we did. So we ended up making a four-drive cab-over truck, had the blessing of Isuzu, said, no, you've got it, that business is all yours. And with that trigger, then we could go to the state emergency services, etc., and said, you want to buy a four-drive truck that can be supported at the level that you guys need it? And they said, absolutely. So at thus far, and by the way, EarthCruiser is completely self-funded. We're it. That's it. That was also important to us. It's Michelle and I, that's all. Because it came back to, we never want to have to compromise on a decision that we just don't want to have to compromise. We just don't want to have to compromise for our customers. And we all know that sometimes a balance sheet can get involved, and I didn't want the balance sheet to always decide.
So I'll just answer the question a bit more quickly than Lance. We are focusing more on our commercial business. We are looking more towards those kinds of disaster relief platforms, a few other things like that. And so we are ramping up to do that. But we created that truck chassis into that four-wheel drive for our core business of the EarthCruiser Overland vehicle. So it is the base platform for us anyway. So it's a natural segue into this market.
Okay, so what do you drive when you're going to the grocery store?
Can I just say this? My husband just got me a BMW, and I am so happy because he can play with trucks at work.
Oh, you love it every time. You love it every time. What about you?
An old Jeep. I got Michelle's old Jeep.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I feel good about that. Okay, any last questions for my friends? Okay, yes.
Any stories about your vehicles having any kind of failure around the world?
This is going to be a great way to end. Do you have any stories about your vehicles failing? This is like a really wild, like around the world somewhere where there's... It seems so big.
Okay.
How do you get them out of these remote places?
So we're not talking about the vehicle failure. We're talking a bit of an operator error one.
That's exactly what I thought.
So
yes.
that's
Makes sense, Michelle.
That's the best one. So Lance and I were doing this GPS race. It was called the Budapest to Bamako a couple of years ago. And so it was, it's not a timed event essentially, but you have to pick up GPS points. So we're in Mauritania. We're doing really well this day. We're, in the Sahara. We're hitting all the GPS points, and then all of a sudden we head over this dune, and do you know where the softest sand is? It's at the bottom of the dune. and it's really, really fine. So Lance buries it because we're going fast, trying to get up the other side. Yes, that's where the operator error comes in. And so there's nothing around. There's nowhere to winch from. So we try burying the tire like you do. We try digging. We try using our sand mats. But the sand is so fine that they just went whooshka, and we never saw them ever again. So, so this was about 6 o'clock at night when this happened. So we dug until about midnight, and then we're like, well, screw this. We're not making any progress. So we had a bottle of wine. We had a shower. We had something nice to eat, and the next morning we woke up really early when the sand was cooler. Still nothing to winch from, except about, 300 meters? There was this little sand hillock at the top of the dune that had some camel grass coming out of it. So what we did was we took off every bit of cable that we had. So we had a front and a rear winch, our snatch straps, our everything. We took the rugs out of the truck, and it took us another, 16, 18 hours to winch ourselves up that damn sand dune to the top, where we kept going, and we caught up with the rest of them, the next day. So that was the operator error.
You two are wild.
And we're still here, and we're still married. Now that's,
That is impressive. That is impressive. I mean, a hot shower and a bottle of wine,
It doesn't sound that dreadful, does it?
It sounds kind of
I'll
nice.
just say that Mauritania was dry, so we had to carry our own wine, and it was cold because it was white, and
Y'all are wild. I just love it. Okay, do we have one more question? Can we do one more question? Okay. Yes. What are your consumer demographics? Who is buying? Great question.
Michelle.
Superheroes in disguise.
So I've handled sales for a very long time, and now as we've grown, we have professional salespeople to do the sales part. Our demographic at the beginning was people who came up through, they did the tents, they did the rooftop tents, they did the truck campers, and they just wanted to be able to go farther and longer. And we sort of saw a lot of people sort of our age or maybe a little bit older. It's not that way anymore. It's everybody. I mean, we've got young people, we've got people, our oldest customer I think is 82.
Wow.
We've got a few customers in their 70s, they're still doing this. We had, one of our early customers was from Airbnb. He was 28 years old. He used to use his EarthCruiser to camp in San Francisco, on the street. So we have a lot of customers. We see a lot of single people now, as well as couples, and now we're starting to see more families.
I'm having a vision of my parents in an EarthCruiser, and it's going to haunt me all night. So thank you so much for that. I don't even know what to do with that. You two are amazing. This was so fun. Thank you, Lance and Michelle. Incredible. I have a gift for each of you. So I have a PubTalk ginormous beer stein. I have one for you as well, Lance. Now, you can bring these back to PubTalk, but I understand that one of you is sitting on the board. Is that right? So, well, I'm told if you bring it to the board meeting, they'll fill it for you there as well, which is actually pretty wild if you really think about it. I think I feel like it belongs on an EarthCruiser. Thank you so much, both of you. Thank you. Okay, there's an EarthCruiser parked outside. This is so fun. You can go check it out, see if you feel right inside of it, and then get yourself on that wait list. How about another round of applause for Lance and Michelle? That's just incredible. I have just a couple quick announcements for you. EDCO's largest event of the year, the annual EDCO Luncheon, is Monday, June 13th at the River House. The tickets are selling quickly. Keynote speaker Margot Downs is not to miss. She's incredible. As you heard from John earlier, she is a big culture person, and she has massive experience with Starbucks, Lululemon, Stitch Fix, and many others. So who here got their tickets already? I'll be there. Ooh, oh, you got it? Okay. Well, there's only a few left. So, also, PubTalk is back here to be the last one of the season on June 23rd, so don't miss it. And a reminder, there's trivia outside. If you're not yet ready to head home just yet, you can go have some trivia in the tent. I understand we have 2 prizes to give away. Hydro flasks These are in a box, so they're fancy. I don't know if I've ever seen a Hydro Flask in a box. If I dropped it, it wouldn't make the same sound, which is disorienting me wildly. Okay, so Aaron, who am I giving these to? Dennis Marvel, are you still in the house? These are the first people to register for our event tonight. Dennis Marvel, are you still here? Who's our second winner? Mary Fremont. Mary Fremont, Dennis Marvel. Well, they registered early and then they were out. I wish that were a little more exciting, but we will get you your prizes. Dennis and Mary, yes? Oh, okay. Well, let's just keep that. Let's send these home with someone. Who are we going to? Laura Peterson? Laura Peterson? Laura Peterson? Aisle 7? Laura Peterson? Laura's not here.
So how about if I send it to the 2 virtual speakers that couldn't be here?
The 2 virtual speakers who couldn't be here tonight. I think that sounds great. They did an excellent job. I'm curious what the colors are. All right, my friends, thank you for coming tonight. Special thanks to all the presenters in person and live stream. Thank you, Silver Moon. See you in a month. Take it easy. Take care. Take extra care. I'm Shannon Kelly. See you next time.